Hi, in this video, I want to try to address the question of what is the goal of grammar instruction? What is it we're trying to accomplish when we teach grammar to our students? And I'd like to argue that the goal really is to try to help them become effective editors, effective proofreaders of their own writing. And that's quite different from turning them into grammarians. I don't think that's the goal, even though some of us would like to see our students become grammarians or even linguists, but I really think what we ought to be aiming for is how to make them more effective as editors or proofreaders of their own writing. And then that leads to the next question. If that's the goal, if trying to help them become more effective editors, then how much grammar do they need to know? This, I think, is a very, very contentious question, one I've wrestled with quite a bit. I've actually arrived at the position at one time, not too long ago, that really all they need to know is the terms subject and verb and sentence and independent clause. And with those four concepts, those four terms under their belt, they can correct errors with subject-verb agreement, with the major punctuation rules, and that those are the most serious, most stigmatizing errors that they make. We might add into that they need to understand the concept of possession so that they can use apostrophes. We might want to teach them about something about pronouns, but surely they don't need to be able to tell us all the different kinds of pronouns. What they need to know is maybe something about pronoun case, which affects only a very small subset of all the pronouns, or maybe they only need to know the concept of pronoun reference, which again is only a problem with a small set of pronouns, maybe pronoun agreement. So I don't want to try to argue in this video for what I think the list of terms should be, only that I think it should be limited to those terms you need to know in order to become an effective editor, an effective proofreader of your own writing. I think that means that students do not need to know the 8 parts of speech, if in fact there are 8. Linguists are still arguing over how many parts of speech there are, and what counts as a part of speech. In the traditional definition, we've always just lumped determiners, articles like a, an, and the, in with adjectives, but they're clearly quite different from adjectives. So are they a separate? Well, anyhow, clearly that's not something our students need to know. That level of terminology can be left for grammarians and linguists to argue about. So that I think each of us needs to work on that for ourselves, and I would love to hear other people post their ideas about but I don't think parts of speech, certainly students don't need to know the difference between direct and indirect objects, since in English we don't inflect them any differently the way Romance languages do. I don't see any reason for them to know the 4 categories of sentences, demonstrative, interrogative, imperative, and whatever the other one is, and or be able to define sentences as compound, complex, or simple, and so forth. I think all of that stuff is in the realm of nice to know, but not essential. And I think what we ought to focus on is just the concepts, just the terms that are essential for our students to become effective editors. And exactly what that means, exactly what terms that is something I think we ought to wrestle with and try to figure out. And but I'm not going to pronounce it in this videotape.